This is a question we get a lot, which is how do I have one system? And this idea of having one true system that reflects everything is so appealing, right? You want one calendar that has everything, one task manager that has everything, one note system that has everything. It's like super appealing for a lot of reasons. But if you work with yourself, that's fine. But if you work in a company, if you work with others, GTD kind of falls down a little bit from that respect, in my opinion. GTD is great for personal productivity, but it's not the best for team productivity. So what I would recommend is embracing the fact that it's okay to use more than one system. You might have your task manager like Todoist, OmniFocus, or whatever. And you may also have a team task manager, which is like Asana and Jira. And it's okay to have things in more than one place if that is not causing you big problems. In fact, I would recommend practicing and being more comfortable with that. What you can do, and this is what I do sometimes, is capture big rocks in your GTD system and maybe more granular in your team system, or maybe flip the other way around. You've got your long-term projects in your GTD system and flesh it out in your GTD system, and maybe the big rocks are in your team system. However you want to do it is fine, but having everything reflect everything just means you're spending a lot of time managing your stuff and not enough time doing your stuff, in my opinion. And that's where that productivity drag starts to happen. I'm curious about this, Tan, because you're obviously in the same boat. You've used OmniFocus for years and years. You've used GTD for years and years, but you also use these team systems. How do you handle working with systems and multiple people?
Yeah, I was in a similar situation where even before we used Jira, we were using Asana. And I remember I was like copying stuff over between the two systems, like from OmniFocus to Asana. And then if something got updated in Asana, I would update it in my OmniFocus. And that led to a lot of rework and extra work that was unnecessary, I realized. So I changed my system now where, okay, I might use GTD or OmniFocus more on a personal level, but not reflect that in something like in the team setting that we have. So I wouldn't copy stuff over now from Jira into OmniFocus or the other way around. So everything is segmented in that sense. If you look at my OmniFocus, for example, which is all personal stuff, there's some AE stuff in there, but it's more stuff that only I can only work on, right? So for example, I might do strategic planning by myself, which is I wouldn't really put into Jira because Jira is more for everybody versus stuff that only I can do. So other things would be like me updating notes on one-on-one meetings or something. Like I wouldn't put that in Jira. I would do that for myself. So there's all that stuff that's there. And I find that if you are in a team setting, you have to make that compromise to say, hey, you know what? I might have to separate my systems and just use GTD for my personal use and how I do things on my own. And then whatever I'm using in my company or in the team setting, use that system, whatever is created there. Otherwise, you'll end up with a lot of rework. And it's just not worth it, to be honest.
I find if you're having to check the same thing off in multiple places, to me, that is a sign generally that you're probably have some busy work and repetition going on. If you want to put like maybe your top 3 rocks in your personal system, and that's what you want to do, I think that's totally okay. But mapping out and having one for one in everything, I think is just, it's do what works for you, obviously. People think of having a trusted system as you need to have one system, like one literal piece of software or notebook or something like that. I don't think that is the case necessarily. For me, I adapt it to be my system is all these things working together, which happens to be for me Jira in one place and OmniFocus in the other place, and they complement each other without having to mirror each other. And at least that works pretty well for me.